Here we have the value proposition. So let's look at first what a proposition is. This is a clear, concise statement, or it could be a series of statements, about the value the solution offered by the product or service has to the client. There's a clear shift of focus and mindset in here. Okay? And what we're doing is we're creating this underlying picture around the product that tells them exactly what it is that they should want and why and for whom, and it underlies the product so that they can almost hold this thing in their hand and see what it is they're going to get out of it. Now, as you start to work on the value proposition for your product, there are a variety of different pieces here that you need to really look at. As you are developing it, you want to look at, first you need to do some research. You need to find out about your client's business. You need to know who their clients are, what their clients' problems are, what their whether this is something that should cost a lot or a little. You need to know who their base business is. Okay. Then you also need to do a little relationship building to establish rapport, outline process. With this, this is just figuring out how you're going to communicate with your prospect. Is this one that needs to be via direct mail, email, phone call, or a various combination of the different ones? How are you going to reach them? And then we get into a little active listening, and this is to understand a client's goals and pains. This is one where some marketers will actually they will use surveys to do this, where they're going out and they're surveying their prospects so they can get a clear picture of what it is that their clients' issues are. That's where somebody will have a survey up that'll say, tell us what is your favorite whatever with web conversion, not with web conversion, but with building a list. Or what is your biggest problem with building a list? There's a question. And somebody types in, well, my problem is I have trouble getting people to the offer. Somebody else says, well, I have trouble doing this, I have trouble doing that. But that's the goal, is to understand what their issues are, what their goals and pains are. Next, we get into questioning. This is about your client's business challenges and visions. And this is one where you're not even looking so much at their prospect, but you're looking more at your clients, at the issues of your client's vision. And again, this is so you can fully understand what they're hoping to do with their business. If they're releasing a little report that is going to show that covers just the front end of their business, you need to understand that. You need to understand that that little report is then going to lead to this product, which has got as a home study system, which is then going to lead to this seminar system, which is then going to lead to one-on-one coaching or group coaching, and then beyond that, one-on-one coaching. But you need to understand the way their business is going to work and the way this whole thing is going to grow for them. Then you also need to understand your client's needs, pains, goals, and dreams, and that kind of falls into the last one. It's an extension of it, really, where you need to understand what their issues are as they're dealing with things so that you can work around those as well. And then lastly, we have an articulation of solutions, pretty big words here, and the value that will bring to the client. Okay, so this is where you summarize the whole thing, and you put all the pieces together so that you can show the client what it is you're going to do for them. Now, the next thing that happens with this is you have a client on the other end. As they look at this whole thing, you have to figure they're sitting there saying, well, what's in this for me? They've got a variety of questions. What do you do differently from your competitors? You need to be able to answer that. You need to be able to say, well, we look just like blue widget number 2, yet inside this blue widget we also have the following elements. What results will your clients see from your product or service? How is it going to affect their business? Is it going to increase their business? How much is it going to increase their business? How quickly is it going to increase their business? How is this going to work for them? You know, what are your core values that make these results possible? What are the core elements within your business that makes it possible for their business to increase? How do you go about providing that and making that offer? Then you've got people saying, well, how do you minimize client risk and ensure return on investment? Well, that's one where you've got to say, well, and I think your this is one where your guarantee may come into play as part of it, but you need to be able to say, this is going to happen. Your income is going to increase by this much in this period of time, or you can ask for all your money back. And I love, and some of the work I've done, I'm a big fan of the 1 year guarantee, where we can say, if any time during this year you have done the following, and they don't even have to show that they have, but you're saying you have to have tried the following, you've got to have tried to work with this system. If for some reason it doesn't work for you, you get back in touch with us, we'll refund all your money. And then what evidence, and case studies even better, can you provide to support your solutions? And that becomes some of the social elements involved in showing that, yes, there are people using this product and this is what it's done for them. So here we have, you want to include anticipated business improvements in quantifiable terms, timescales for returns on investment, timing of clients' costs and expenses, and how the benefits will be measured. I mean, these are the sort of things you need to include in this whole thing for people. Now, again, let's understand that at the end of the day, it's the clarity of your value proposition that can have the greatest effect on conversion.